My name is Judith Bessette. I was born and raised in Rhode Island and moved to Lowell, Massachusetts in 1973 with my family, husband, 4 children. Started taking courses at Middlesex Community College. Then, 1977, moved to France for 2 years. Returned in January 1979, and then transferred into UMass Lowell, where I became an art major with a French minor. So my most recent published work is this slim volume called Ma Belle France. And it talks about, not completely, but some of the experiences during those 2 years that I lived in France with my family. I wrote a lot for in college for my major, which was art history. So I wrote a lot of papers. I continued to do research. I continue to do research on a variety of subjects. So I really do not have a writing process. I wish I did. I was inspired by some teachers that I work with. I volunteer at an elementary school in Dracut, and I have been thinking about this for some time, and with their encouragement, I was able to follow through and actually finish the project. I am influenced by what I see. I try to watch interviews with authors and read what authors have to say about their process. And I think that's probably my main inspiration. I like to say that I write. To say that I'm an author is, it's nice, it's a stretch. I enjoy saying that, but I do a lot of things. I also paint, so I consider myself an artist. But those are big shoes to fill. So I am a beginning author. I'm a beginning artist, continuing to learn. That is really what I would talk about to anyone. There's always room to learn, room for improvement. So I spent, as my background, my academic background and my work background, I spent 20 years at the Museum of American Textile History in North Andover, Massachusetts, and then that museum moved into Lowell, to Dutton Street, became the American Textile History Museum. So I spent 20 years in museum education. My experiences with Lowell. Well, I've lived in Lowell. I've taken part in, parent-teachers associations when my children were growing up, and always been involved with the art exhibitions world. And the National Park has been a big part of all that. Well, I would describe the art scene as very vibrant in Lowell. So I have been involved for a long time with practically every art gallery in Lowell over a period of time. I would start with the Arts League of Lowell, and then I would mention the Ayer Loft, Gallery Z, which is a newer gallery, the Whistler House Museum of Art, also LTC for a very long time, yes. And I think LTC does a wonderful job because it's an open space. Yes, I have worked with LTC for many, many years. Alphabetically, I didn't mention the Brush Gallery. Sorry about that. I can tell you a little bit about Lowell Celebrates Kerouac, yes. I have been a member since 2009, I believe. So it's been a learning process for me. I have to admit that Coming from Rhode Island, I didn't have any knowledge of Jack Kerouac, Lowell-born author. So it was a learning experience for me. And I recently stepped down as president of Lowell Celebrates Kerouac after about 7 years as president. That too was a learning experience. So this year is 2022 is the 100th anniversary of his birth. So there's a year-long celebration going on to celebrate Jack Kerouac's birth. Lowell Celebrates Kerouac, the organization itself, had its origins back in the 1980s. The organization was formed in order to create a park, a commemorative park for Jack Kerouac. We do a lot of commemorative events there, and that's at the beginning of Bridge Street. There will be one more event I should mention, connected with the Whistler House, to end the year-long program that's been taking place to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Jack Kerouac's birth. And then the year will end at the Whistler House. And that is yet to be determined how that is going to work out. So things aren't back to normal yet. I would like to bring up that, again, to reiterate, there's always room to learn a new skill, become interested in a new subject. I would have never thought that I would particularly be an author. I've been writing all those years in undergraduate studies, graduate studies. So I'm aware of the writing process, but I never considered myself an author. To everyone, just keep, trying to learn new skills, become interested in new things, see where you can volunteer perhaps. I'm happy I wrote this little book. I consider it sort of a guide to someone finding themselves living in another country where they do not speak the language. That would be something I'd be thinking about. That's about it for this moment.